The first thing people noticed about Ethan Parker wasn't his height, or the way he tied his shoes, or even the quiet determination in his hazel eyes. It was the calm. No matter what happened around him, Ethan seemed untouched by panic. A fallen backpack, a spilled lunch tray, a surprise pop quiz, others would flinch, groan, or mutter complaints. But Ethan, he would just breathe, focus, and move forward as if the world had slowed down just for him. It was a crisp September morning in Millfield, a small town nestled in the rolling hills of Pennsylvania. Leaves crunched underfoot as students poured into the courtyard, laughing, shouting, bumping into one another. Liam, Ethan's best friend since kindergarten, came barreling toward him, wide-eyed and out of breath. "Ethan, did you hear? There's a fox near the edge of town. People are freaked out." Liam's voice cracked halfway through his sentence, his hands shaking as he tugged at Ethan's sleeve. Ethan looked up from his notebook, where he had been sketching doodles of the old oak tree outside the classroom. He didn't flinch. He didn't snap. Instead, he gave a slow, measured nod. "We stay calm. We observe first. Running and screaming doesn't help anyone," he said, his voice low and steady. Liam blinked, momentarily silenced. I don't know how you do that. I'm losing it already." Before Ethan could answer, a sudden commotion erupted near the playground. A younger student had tripped over a loose piece of concrete, tumbling hard onto the asphalt. A sharp cry split the morning air, followed by the sound of startled gasps and frantic shouting. Several children froze, unsure whether to run for help or to join the chaos. Ethan sprang into action, but not the panicked, uncontrolled kind. He moved swiftly, calmly assessing the situation. Kneeling beside the boy, he checked for obvious injuries while gently reassuring him. "It's going to be okay. Stay still. Help is on the way." He gestured to a couple of students nearby. "You, call the nurse. You, hold his arm steady. Everyone else, give us some space." Within moments, the school nurse arrived, thanks to Ethan's clear-headed instructions. The boy was lifted safely onto a stretcher without further injury, and the other children had enough space to breathe and calm themselves. Teachers who had arrived to see the scene could hardly believe their eyes. One of them, Mr. Reynolds, the new life skills teacher, watched Ethan from across the yard, an intrigued smile tugging at his lips. After the chaos had settled, Mr. Reynolds approached Ethan, his boots crunching on the gravel path. "Ethan, you just handled that situation like a seasoned professional. Most kids your age would have panicked, tripped over themselves, or made things worse. How did you stay so calm?" Ethan shrugged, cheeks tinged pink. I don't know. I just focused on what I could do, not on screaming or freaking out." Mr. Reynolds nodded thoughtfully. "You know, Ethan, not everyone can do that. But calmness, focus, the ability to think clearly under pressure, that's a skill. And I think you have a rare gift. If you're willing, I'd like to help you sharpen it, teach you how to control your mind and emotions, even in the worst crises." Ethan tilted his head, curiosity lighting up his face. "Teach me?" "Yes," Mr. Reynolds said. "I've spent years training firefighters and rescue workers. And now, I think you have what it takes to learn the same techniques, only you're starting younger. Which could make a huge difference." That afternoon, Liam trailed behind Ethan as the two boys walked home from school. "So, you're going to learn to be even calmer?" Liam asked nervously. "Is that even possible?" Ethan chuckled softly, shaking his head. "I guess we'll find out." The following week, Mr. Reynolds began training Ethan in small sessions. They practiced controlled breathing, situational awareness, and separating emotions from decisions. It started with small exercises, imagining a chaotic cafeteria, or a mock accident where Liam would pretend to be hysterical. Ethan would step in, analyze, and guide the panicked students, or Liam, through the problem without losing composure. During one exercise, Liam's character tripped on a fake puddle of water and began to panic loudly. Ethan crouched down beside him. "Breathe with me. Focus on the steps we need to take. First, assess if anyone is hurt. Then move carefully. We can handle this." Liam's wild gestures slowed, his breaths came easier, and he followed Ethan's lead. As the week went on, Ethan's confidence grew. He began to see how his calmness affected others, how it spread quietly but powerfully, allowing them to regain composure. He realized it wasn't just about avoiding panic for himself, it was about creating stability for those around him. That Friday, while walking home, Ethan and Liam witnessed a minor accident at the edge of the street. A young boy's bicycle had skidded on wet asphalt. Teetering dangerously toward the curb, crowds of neighbors shouted, stepping back in alarm. Ethan didn't move impulsively. He took a deep breath, evaluated the situation, and quickly guided the boy out of danger. While calming the worried onlookers, Liam stared, wide-eyed. I can't believe you just did that," he said. Ethan smiled faintly. "It's not about being fast. It's about being steady." And in that moment, Ethan Parker knew that the lessons he was learning with Mr. Reynolds weren't just about staying calm. They were about learning to face the world with clarity, courage, and control, no matter what storm came his way. The week after the bicycle incident, Mr. Reynolds introduced Ethan to a new type of challenge, one that would test not only his composure but also his ability to lead others in tense situations. The life skills classroom was transformed into a simulated emergency zone. Smoke machines hissed softly in the corners, creating a hazy atmosphere. Red fire alarm lights flickered intermittently, and the scent of burnt wood, artificial but unsettling, filled the room. "Today," Mr. Reynolds announced, his deep voice cutting through the mock chaos, "you're going to guide your peers through a scenario where panic spreads quickly. Your goal is not only to stay calm yourself, but to help others stay calm as well." Ethan's stomach tightened with anticipation. He had handled real situations before, like the bicycle accident, but this was different. Here, every second would be observed, every choice scrutinized. He nodded, suppressing a flutter of nerves. Liam stood beside him, fidgeting with the edge of his hoodie. "Ethan, this looks intense," he whispered. "I don't know if I can do it without freaking out." Ethan placed a reassuring hand on his friend's shoulder. "You'll be fine if you focus. Watch, breathe, and think through each step. I'll guide you." The simulation began. A fellow student playing the panicked victim screamed loudly, waving arms, while another tripped over a makeshift obstacle. Some students shrieked, others froze, unsure what to do. Ethan surveyed the scene, his mind scanning for immediate risks, safe pathways, and who needed help the most. "Liam, take her hand," Ethan instructed, pointing to a student pretending to be injured. "Keep her steady. I'll clear a path to the exit." Liam's hands shook, but he followed Ethan's directions. With a steady voice, Ethan called out instructions to the others. "Everyone else, move slowly. Watch your step. Focus on helping, not panicking." Minutes felt like hours, but under Ethan's guidance, the chaotic room gradually transformed into a controlled evacuation. Students followed instructions, breathing slowed, and the mock emergency was resolved without a single, accidental injury caused by panicked movement. When the smoke cleared, Mr. Reynolds smiled and nodded. "Excellent work, Ethan. You didn't just remain calm yourself, you radiated calmness to others. That's rare at any age, let alone 14. Ethan exhaled deeply, the tension leaving his body. It felt different this time. He admitted, "I wasn't just thinking about myself. I was thinking about everyone else, too." "That's the next stage," Mr. Reynolds explained. "True calm isn't just about internal control, it's about using that clarity to guide others. People look for cues. When you stay grounded, others can follow." Over the next few weeks, Ethan practiced increasingly complex scenarios. Some involved multiple, injured students. Others introduced new variables like blocked exits or sudden loud noises. Each challenge forced him to anticipate reactions, adapt, and communicate clearly while maintaining composure. One afternoon, during a particularly difficult simulation, Ethan had to navigate a situation where Liam lost control of his emotions. Screaming at the top of his lungs, panic rippled through the small group. Ethan stepped forward, crouched to meet Liam's eye level, and spoke calmly, deliberately. "Liam, breathe with me. Look around. What is actually dangerous right now? Take one step at a time. I'm here. We're okay." Liam's body quivered, but slowly, the tension in his shoulders eased. He followed Ethan's breathing pattern, each inhale and exhale measured. Within moments, the chaos subsided, the injured students were assisted, and the simulation was successfully completed. Afterward, Liam slumped against the wall, exhausted but smiling. I don't know how you do that, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. I thought I'd lose it for sure. You made me calm. Ethan smiled faintly. It's like I said before, focus on what you can control. One thing at a time. That evening, Ethan walked home, reflecting on what he had learned. The exercises weren't just about emergencies, they were lessons in patience, empathy, and leadership. He realized that staying calm required more than self-discipline. It required awareness of the people around him, anticipation of their reactions, and the ability to project reassurance. Later that week, during a community volunteer day at the local park, Ethan encountered his first real test outside the controlled environment of simulations. A dog had slipped its leash and ran into the crowded playground, sending children scattering in every direction. Parents shouted, trying to catch their kids, while the dog darted between swings and slides. Most kids froze, a few tripped and fell. Ethan didn't panic. He took a deep breath, then called out, "Stay where you are, don't move yet." His calm tone cut through the noise, drawing attention. He guided the nearest children to a safe corner while keeping an eye on the dog's path. "Liam, help me corner him by the fence. We'll calm him down, then find the owner." Together, Ethan and Liam managed to secure the dog without injury. The parents, initially frantic, now watched in amazement as Ethan calmly organized the chaos into order. Afterwards, Mr. Reynolds, who had observed from a distance, approached Ethan. "That was impressive. Real-life unpredictability is far harder than simulations. You kept your mind clear, your instructions precise, and your friends safe. That's exactly what we've been training for." Ethan nodded, feeling a quiet sense of accomplishment. He realized that all the hours of practice, the drills, the breathing exercises, the role-playing scenarios, were more than preparation. They were shaping a mindset that could face anything, the calm in the storm, the clarity in chaos, the strength to lead when everyone else panics. And in that moment, Ethan understood a truth he hadn't fully grasped before. His gift wasn't just staying calm for himself. It was the power to instill calm in others, to make the impossible manageable, and to turn fear into focus. It was a quiet Saturday morning in Millfield when everything changed. A neighbor's chimney had caught fire, and within minutes, thick smoke billowed through the nearby houses. The wind carried sparks dangerously close to surrounding buildings, and panic quickly spread throughout the small community. Parents ran into the streets, calling for their children. Neighbors grabbed buckets and garden hoses, unsure where to start. Ethan Parker, 14, was walking home with Liam when the first signs of chaos reached them. Children were scattered across yards. A dog barked frantically, and the smoke stung eyes and lungs. Instinctively, Ethan stopped, took a deep breath, and scanned the scene. Unlike everyone else, he felt no panic, only clarity. "Liam," he said firmly, grabbing his friend's shoulder, "we need to help people get to safety. Follow me, stay calm, and pay attention." Liam's hands trembled, but Ethan's composed demeanor steadied him. They ran toward the first group of children trapped near the sidewalk. "Okay, slow steps. Keep your hands on my shoulders," Ethan instructed, guiding them past the smoke. "We're going to get through this together." Nearby, a mother screamed at her little boy, trying to pull him away from the spreading sparks. Ethan approached her calmly. "Ma'am, let him take my hand. I'll lead him to safety. Please trust me." Hesitation flickered across her face, but she saw the unwavering focus in Ethan's eyes and nodded. As they reached a safe distance, Ethan didn't stop. He checked on every group, neighbors, children, pets, assessing who needed help the most. Liam, slowly gaining confidence, followed Ethan's lead, helping secure a few younger children. For the first time, he realized that calmness wasn't about doing everything perfectly. It was about guiding others with steadiness and focus. Meanwhile, sparks leapt dangerously close to the fence near the playground. A group of teenagers had frozen in fear. Ethan ran to them, speaking clearly and confidently. "Everyone together. Stay close. We move in a line, one step at a time." With a few gentle but firm corrections, he guided them past the immediate danger. By the time the fire department arrived, every person was safe, and chaos had been transformed into coordinated calm. Firefighters, initially prepared for panic and confusion, were stunned by how effectively the small-town community had organized itself. Mr. Reynolds, who had arrived with the emergency crews, approached Ethan as he watched the firefighters tackle the flames. "Ethan, I've trained countless adults, firefighters, paramedics, police, but I have never seen anyone your age handle a real crisis with such precision and composure. You didn't just act, you led. You inspired calm in everyone around you." Ethan shook his head, a small smile forming. "I just focused on what I could do and tried to keep everyone safe. That's all." "But it's more than that," Mr. Reynolds insisted. "What you did today shows something rare, true leadership through calm. People remember that. People follow that. You've learned something most never do in a lifetime." As the smoke cleared, Ethan looked around Millfield. Houses were safe, neighbors were hugging, and even Liam was beaming. Ethan realized that the drills, exercises, and simulations weren't just preparation, they were shaping a mindset capable of facing the unexpected. Walking home, he reflected on everything he had learned. Calmness, he understood, was not the absence of fear. It was the presence of control, clarity, and the ability to act decisively. And when shared, it became contagious, turning fear into focused action, panic into teamwork, and chaos into order. That evening, Ethan sat on the porch with Liam, looking at the sunset. "I think I get it now," Liam said quietly. "It's not just about staying calm for yourself, it's about helping everyone else stay calm, too." Ethan nodded. "Exactly. That's the secret. If you can stay steady, you can make a difference, even in the scariest situations."